Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mindful Play Summit. I'm your host, Crystal Jensen, and today we're sitting down with Sandy Zanella. She is a mom of two, a physician by training, and a kids yoga teacher. She is the author and creator of Happy Yogis, a colorful pose by pose book inspired by her kids. She wants to encourage children to love and accept themselves as they are and dreams with helping family thrive and find joy together. As a hobby, she's a content creator and loves sharing about her motherhood journey and how to integrate yoga and mindfulness throughout the day with children. Thanks so much for watching. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Today we have Sandy Zanella. She is from My Mindful Mom Life. Welcome, Sandy.
Hi, Crystal. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
I am super excited you're here from all over the world. We get to kind of come together, connect, and learn a little bit about each other. So my question for you is, how did you get started, and a little bit about yourself in the work that you're doing right now?
So I am a kids yoga teacher and a mindfulness teacher, and it all started with my daughter. I started personally, I became a teacher when she was 7 months because I was looking for a way to connect with her. And I did yoga before, and I found that it was very beneficial for me. So I was like, I want to do it with my daughter. And then eventually I started giving classes to children when she was getting older. And I just found that everybody loved it, and everybody were like, all the kids were super happy, and the moms were like telling me the good things that they were finding. So that's how kind of like how it started.
And where are you in the world?
I'm in Dubai right now, so the opposite side of you. It's midnight here.
Yes, it's midnight there, and it's actually 1 p.m. here. So the sun is shining, and I just sharing gratitude even off the call for you, coming and speaking with us at midnight your time. So I really, really appreciate that.
Oh no.
So let's dive in a little bit. So, why is self esteem so important to children's development from your perspective?
I think inner voice is based on the way we've um, heard like our parents talk to us, right? So, for example, if we were treated like with a lot of criticism, that's going to affect our self-talk. So it is very important for us to be mindful and watch how we talk to our children. And also the brain normally is biased because we think negatively. Oftentimes, like for example, we have 70,000 thoughts a day, and 85% and 80% of them are negative. So imagine, like, we have to counteract that, and the best way to do it is trying to rewire our brain with positive self-talk. So I think it is very important because it is going to affect our mental health, our academics, like our life.
Beautiful. Yeah, when you're talking about the positive self talk, I just had this reminder of a personal story with my daughter. She's 11. And what was interesting is I didn't actually recognize the thoughts that I had about myself until she was telling me the thoughts she had about herself. And it was in that moment where I thought, oh my goodness, I have to shape
Yes,
shift the way I'm seeing things so she can then watch my modeled behavior to say
right.
it's safe to think positive things about ourselves. So it's
And it
go
go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. And it's sometimes like, for example, the other day I was wearing, trying some dresses and something, and I was about to say, I don't like this how I look, but I was like, oh no, no. Like if I start talking to myself, like even not that I'm ugly, but sometimes you don't like how it looks like, and if you start saying that in front of them, that's the way they're gonna talk to themselves in when they look in the mirror. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
There, I appreciate that it's like the modeled behavior, but also years of programming, because you could probably agree that we've been programmed to think a certain way. And what an
yeah,
opportunity to shapeshift the next generation of thought.
yeah.
All
I
right. So,
know.
what are some of your favorite activities when you're working with children?
Well, for example, with personally with my kids, we do like from the most basic things like repeating affirmations in front of a mirror every day to playing games. I think playing games, and it's all about this summit, right? Games. So it's the best way to teach our children anything. I think that's like the best approach we can have. So what I like to do is with what we already have, like even in the classes I give, like I try to use things that normally kids would have at home so that they can do it at home as well. And with basically with any game, even if you have a board game, for example, and you can grab the dice and maybe write on a paper different prompts like today I want to try and blank, and then you write number one, and then two another prompt like I am, and they have to fill in the blank, and then they throw the dice, and whatever the number falls you go to the list and you say, oh okay, number three, it says I am awesome because, and they have to answer, you know. So this is gets them excited and gets them like into the game and the excitement on repeating affirmations without really saying affirmations, you know, because sometimes it could be very like I am, and for kids maybe that can be boring, or maybe kids don't like to stand in front of the mirror and repeat. For some kids that's not fun. So like also for example Jenga, instead of like you can just write down an affirmation, and every time you pull out a little piece you will read the affirmation. And so stuff like that, like grabbing whatever you have and adding an affirmation with every game that you have at home.
I love that. So we don't have to recreate the wheel. We just layer on top of something that
Yes, I
we
love
already like
that. I
doing, right? Like
This is
Connect Four,
yes.
right? I'm like already I'm thinking, how could I create more fun games based on just I love that the layering of what you're already doing. So it's not that extra thing, it's just enriching something that your child or children are already connecting with.
Yeah, and also arts and crafts, like kids love drawing and painting. You know, you can print out a picture of themselves and write like a sun ray affirmations that they feel. Like, how do you feel? You are, and have them say how they feel and about themselves. Because if you only tell them, then that's the way that they're gonna only think what you're telling them. But sometimes it's also a good thing to push them that growth mindset, you know, like just have prompts like I was saying, but like answer, fill in the blank.
I love that. That's so, my wheels are turning because now I'm like, My children, for those that are listening, are ages 4, 7, and 11. So they
Wow.
love to play. And at different ages and stages in their development, I can actually see when I started to incorporate more of a growth mindset with. I've been about 4 years. And my 4-year-old, she'll stand there in her superpower pose and she'll be like, I am strong, I am brave, I can do anything. And then my 11-year-old, for the last 3 years, we've been working on a lot of mirror work, and she's just come to saying and embodying some of that expression. But it's taken, working with her and, how are you feeling? And basically stripping down the onion layer. And then I have a middle, he's a son, he's a boy,
Yeah.
and he's just like your sports fanatic, right? So he's just doing his own thing. But it's interesting to see my children's development at each time based on the work that I've been doing with them, right? And that modeling behavior piece. So I'm excited. You've inspired me to take out some of their favorite games and, make it more of an enriched
Yeah,
experience.
I try to look for an opportunity everywhere. So yeah, and it's funny because what you say, like both my kids are so different. Also, like my daughter, she's 5, and my son, he's 3, and they are completely different. Like what works with one doesn't always work with the other. So
Yeah.
you
And
have to be creative.
I like that you say that because sometimes as parents or educators, we can judge and say, oh, that didn't work, or we give up, or, oh, they say that they don't like that. But every child is different, like you just mentioned, but also to understand that maybe something resonates with one that won't resonate with the other, or, different ages and styles of what they like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you mentioned, like, I am a kids yoga teacher, right? And my son was not into yoga at all. Like, he's 3, and just like recently, like 6 months ago or something, he started doing yoga. And I felt, like, how you say like guilty because oh my god, I'm a kids yoga teacher and my son doesn't like yoga. Like how is that? But we have to have patience and just modeling and let them decide whenever they want to join, or let them decide what they want and how they want to try different approaches, because he's more into the mindful part of yoga, like the meditation. He will sit down and try to meditate and just sits like he's like trying to imitate me, I think. And my daughter is more into the movement, the asanas, the trying to do the poses. She's more active. So yeah, what you're saying, like finding what they like and using it is important.
I agree. And it's resonating with me for sure. So, how would you explain how yoga helps with that self confidence piece?
Well, yoga has so many benefits, like from strength and balance to self awareness. You will feel your body, and with the mindfulness part, you know, you're gonna feel your emotions, your sensations, and that's also gonna help you with the emotional regulation, because kids are going to be more present and more close to their feelings and their sensations, and maybe they're going to say, oh, I feel like butterflies in my stomach, that means I am getting triggered, or I feel hot, or my heart is racing. So that's going to help them with the emotional regulation. And it will also help them with self-esteem. The good thing about yoga is that it's not competitive, so it's more about finding your place, being present in the moment, and even non-judgmental. Whatever you can do, like yoga is not about the pose, it's about the journey, like enjoying every single moment. So it's gonna help them to be present and just being there. So when they are navigating those hard years and like adolescence or college, where there's a lot of academic pressure and peer pressure, and they're going to be know how to slow down and have these coping skills to emotionally regulate.
Yeah, we definitely need those skills in this world. Right? Even as a
Yeah.
parent or an educator, I kind of joke around, but I'm 36 years old and I only learned how to intentionally breathe a few years ago, where I thought,
Yeah, right.
wow, if I could have learned these tools and where it sits in my body and what am I noticing, like you mentioned, the signs of our body that's telling us something. If I could have recognized those at a younger age, and instead I feel I just kind of suppressed my emotion and just didn't talk about it, or it better seem to be heard, or if I cried I go to my bedroom, right? So all of these things
Yeah.
where I recognize as an educator and a parent that I want to spread this world, like this work that you're doing with the world and the work that I'm doing with the world, because there's this piece of me that there's a part of me that really enjoyed my upbringing in certain areas. And there's a part of me that could have had a better piece of certain things. So I feel like that's where the passion comes in to support that movement. So I feel when you talk, and you're speaking about the benefits, I can feel that. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, because I've seen it with my children.
Absolutely. Now, you have written a little book, so I thought we would, couple things. If you could share that book with us, what inspired you
Yeah.
to write it?
Yeah, I have it right here. Happy Yogis. Um, well, my kids inspire me. For me, also books are the best way, other than modeling behavior, like the best way to teach whatever I want. Like, for example, I use books for potty training, for body boundaries, whatever I am struggling with, I go get a book. So I wanted to write a book since, I don't know, since I was in high school or something. I just didn't know about what. Like, I just had it in my bucket list. And then when I had my daughter, I was like, I need to write a children's book. And so, kids yoga book, I think the idea came like 2 years ago, when I was like giving classes and everything. And I wrote it during the pandemic. like I found my illustrator in December 2019, and then we started, and at the same time was the pandemic. I thought of stopping and pausing it, but then when I saw all my friends were like, struggling with their kids, and the anxiety spikes with everyone, adults, kids, and everyone. I started giving Zoom classes free for children. And that's where I was like, no, I really need to get this book out, because I see how important it is to spread this message. And I also have a bilingual version with Spanish, because the Latin community is not into yoga yet, like, or mindfulness, like how maybe the US, Europe, Canada, they're still a little bit skeptical and find yoga and meditation like kind of mystical. So I want to, or religious. So I want to spread this message also there, like, because I saw that when I was giving these sessions, I also offered them in Spanish, and like nobody came, even if it was free. So I see that.
I like how you said yet, because
Yeah.
you're not ready yet. And that's beautiful reflection, because I agree. Sometimes mindfulness, even the word, is seen as a bit woo, or it's the unknown, or it's linked to a
Mhm.
certain, religious belief. And what I love about what you're saying is that, through practicing yoga, through practicing or bringing in your books, you're focusing your attention into that one thing. So call it mindfulness, call it focused attention, and removing all of that judgment piece. There's such a beautiful essence of what that is, of just being versus always do. So
Yeah.
I love that, where it's like normalizing in a sense of like, okay, well, we're not practicing XYZ. We are just focusing our attention on one thing with no judgment and just being with that for a moment
Yeah.
and just simplifying that. So I definitely like how you've explained that. So for our listeners watching, Sandy has offered to raffle off one of her books. So we would love
Yes.
for you to email in. The details will all be below here on Sandy's speaker page. Email in the code word happy. And what we'll do after the summit is we'll draw for one lucky winner for her book. And I thought, you know what? Maybe we could just read a couple pages of it to give our listeners a little tester. And if you wouldn't mind, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'll
And I
start with
love your
with the.
illustrations too. They're super
Oh, thank you. So it's with positive affirmations, and it has the yoga pose and the affirmation that it's kind of related with the pose, to make it more powerful.
absolutely.
So with mountain pose, I start my days with a grateful heart. I am thankful for you. What are you grateful for today? And they're doing extended mountain pose. Tree pose. Today I feel ready to take on the world. I am confident. Dancer pose. I want to understand how the world works. I follow my curiosities and learn. I am open minded and creative. And it has, in every page, it has one of my kids and myself, because I also wanted to encourage parents to do it with their children, because sometimes we don't really know what activity do with them. Sometimes we don't want to play pretend kitchen or chef or doctor. So this is also another way to get the benefits also of positive affirmations, because I mean, even as adults, we need to hear our self-talk, like I am beautiful, So I
I
think it's
love
it's a
that.
good way to also connect with our kids and ourselves.
What a beautiful expression. I'm like, yay. I haven't purchased your book yet, but I'm definitely going to purchase your book because
Hmm.
I love it. And I love the story behind it, where you saw something, right? You saw something, you were inspired by your children, and you took that and you took action. So I'm like, that is amazing. I'm
Thank
inspired to
you.
write a book one day. So
Oh, you have to.
you're giving
I'm
me
I'm
that
gonna tell you
inspiration.
everything. No,
Yeah.
you have to. And it also has a meditation, loving kindness meditation at the end, and a belly breathing. So when even I wanted to write it like very easy to use, like maybe you have it in your mindful corner or however you call it. um and just do one post and that's it. You don't need to read the whole book. Just grab it and do it right before they go to school. They're feeling anxious. Okay, so I am unique, and they choose a post and they do it. So it's very like, you don't have to read the whole book.
I really like how you're integrating the words with body movements because it's connecting the mind and the body through that affirmation. So it's super, super powerful. If there was one, extra piece of advice or something that you could tie up in a bow and give to our listeners, what would that be?
I think everything is about modeling and and having patience with our children. Like, don't pressure them. If they want to do something, they will do it. Just have patience, and also, when since we're talking about inner voice and self talk, to be very careful with what we use, the words we use, because sometimes we tend to talk more or tend to criticize more than focus on criticism more than whatever their strengths are. So sometimes if they spill the milk and we say, again, you blah 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 blah. So instead of like switching that and saying, oh, it was an accident, here, here's some paper towels, let's clean, like stuff like that, because it's so important the way how we talk to them, the way they're going to talk to themselves. So I think in order to integrate everything with the games that we were talking about and everything, like the way we speak to them, I think that's like very, very important to focus.
Well, Sandy, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. I want to share my deepest gratitude for midnight call in Dubai. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just want to say thanks to our listeners for watching.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.